Election year politics stirs acrimony, along with memories of presidential elections past. But even lifelong citizens of Indiana may not know that one of its native sons placed a strong second in a 1940 run for the Oval Office. His name is Wendell Willkie, but before we examine the heated 1940 election, we'll briefly discuss his life and what brought him so close to the presidency. From Elwood, Indiana, about 50 miles northeast of Indianapolis, came Wendell Willkie, born in 1892. His father was born in America to German immigrants, not unusual in a country whose largest ethnic group is arguably those of German descent. His parents were both lawyers who engaged their children in lively debates over the nightly dinner table. His brother Edward went on to become an Olympic wrestler. Steeped in progressive politics, patriarch Herman Willkie brought his children to see William Jennings Bryan speak on the presidential campaign trail. Bryan, a three-time candidate for the presidency, represented the prosecution in its case against the Tennessee teacher who taught evolution in the classroom. Bryan stayed in the Willkie home during a later presidential campaign and became an early political hero of young Wendell. When Willkie's self-discipline and posture lagged, his parents sent him to the Culver Military Academy for a summer. This highly rated Northern Indiana institution, now co-ed and called simply Culver Academy, was founded in 1894 on the shores of Lake Maxinkuckee, Indiana's second-largest natural lake. Willkie went on to graduate from Indiana University and earned high honors at the IU School of Law. Willkie's lack of a wealthy background motivated him to work during summers away from college and law school, taking jobs as a dishwasher, steelworker, debate coach, and history teacher, among others. He volunteered for the Army during World War I but did not see combat. Willkie began his career as corporate counsel for the Firestone Tire Company in Akron, Ohio, and later worked for electrical utility companies, representing them in court as they fought the sweeping power of FDR's Tennessee Valley Authority. He lost that battle, but managed to bolster his national profile in testifying before Congress and befriending top journalists. A lifelong Democrat, Willkie switched parties and became a Republican in 1939, citing the Roosevelt administration's anti-business policies. Despite his wrinkled suits, a backwoods haircut, and a Hoosier accent, he still managed to garner the support of Eastern establishment Republicans. He directed the national campaign from Rushville, Indiana, his wife's hometown, where a giant Willkie mural can be seen today. Willkie represented interventional foreign policy in a Republican Party dominated by isolationist sentiment. The America First movement, led by aviator Charles Lindbergh, was an effective force for non-intervention until the Pearl Harbor attacks rallied the nation for war. The Republican nominating convention was contentious, but Willkie came out on top and formally accepted the nomination in his hometown of Elwood, Indiana, before a record crowd of 150,000. In the November election, though, Willkie won only 10 states and lost the popular vote by a 55-45 split. Though he lost in 1940 to Roosevelt, Willkie remained a prominent player on the world stage throughout the early 1940s. As his former election rival Roosevelt's unofficial envoy, he made 2 goodwill tours to Allied countries to boost their morale. He met with French resistance chief Charles de Gaulle in Beirut and with Allied leaders in the Soviet Union and China. He used his platform to champion the Lend-Lease legislation that authorized United States aid to Allied countries. Beneficiaries include Soviet Russia, who would become a bitter enemy of the United States almost immediately after the war. Against the nationalist sentiment that dominated the world at that time, Willkie authored a book, One World, that argued for America's participation in a world representative body to help maintain the peace after the war's end. Writing around the same time, England's H.G. Wells went a step further with a book entitled that spawned persistent conspiracy theories of a coming one-world government technocratic tyranny. These theories were given new life on September the 11th, 1990, when former CIA director and then President George H.W. Bush delivered a speech entitled Toward a New World Order. Willkie ran again in 1944, but his campaign faltered at the Wisconsin primary. His health also failed that year. After a series of heart attacks, he died in New York City at the age of 52. He is buried in his adopted hometown of Rushville, Indiana. Willkie's philosophy is summed up in one of his later speeches calling for a loyal opposition which, though defeated at the ballot box, agrees to work together with the party in power, especially in times of war. Willkie's nomination effectively blocked the non-interventionist Republicans at a key moment weakening barriers to the entry of the United States into the Second World War. His campaign for Lend-Lease helped equip the Allies against Germany. Winston Churchill, after meeting Wilkie in London, called him a most able and forceful man. His legacy as a capable lawyer, executive, and spokesman who rose from small-town Indiana to lead a formidable campaign for the presidency makes Wendell Willkie a notable Hoosier. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on Wendell Willkie's legacy. Here are 2 more videos I think you'll like. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and to share the video with your friends. And subscribe for more historical and biographical videos.